Hi, everybody. Welcome to A Deeper Connection, the spells we cast, understanding the power of our words. I know it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to kind of come together to find me here, so we'll just chit chat about, I don't know, any little thing. Happy that it's a nice sunny day here in Chicago today because it has been really cold and yucky. But today the sun is shining, and I am grateful to actually be inside so I don't have to go outside with the cold weather. All right, I see some people chiming in. Excellent. Hi. I see Debbie, and Debbie is probably with Ruth. So, hi, Ruth. I miss you, my friend. I'm glad you're here today joining us. We're going to get started in a minute. I was just kind of Hi. I was just kind of waiting for a couple people to show up. I know this is going to be recorded, so people will be able to watch it in the future. But now I see people popping up a little bit, so we are going to. Hi, Bryn, Wanda. Yay! It's so good to see you, ladies. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in a minute here. I was just taking a little time. Hi, Elaine, too. Yay! Everybody's here. It's a party. Woot woot. Excellent. Well, it's good to see you all here. So today's subject is the spells we cast, right? Understanding the power of our words. And I came up with this title probably about a year or two ago when I was talking with my son, who is turned out to be one of my greatest teachers at this time. You know, we're coming into the Aquarian age, which is so different from the Piscean age. You know, in the Piscean age, it was all about following leaders and looking for something that resonated with us so that we can, you know, get in line and follow along. Well, the Aquarian age is more about stepping into our power and all of us working together. I'm not saying that we don't need organizers and people to kind of hold us accountable or put things into motion. But we definitely need to all step into our own power now and not so much follow the leader, but create what we want and then assign people to kind of get things done. That's what the Aquarian age is all about. So working with my son, who has really helped me, you know, he's a millennial and he's really helped me to understand the energy of the Aquarian age. And these younger people nowadays, they really get it, and they don't even know they get it because they're listening to us, and we listen to our parents, and our parents listen to their parents, and that's all kind of Piscean age stuff that we grew up like, oh, think about what you do. You really need to think about it. You really need to make a plan. That is not what's going on nowadays anymore. There's not too much more thinking about it and making a plan. It's all about really just tuning into what's going on in the moment and then allowing the universe to give us what is meant for us. And that means surrendering to the flow. That means not really planning too much, not really, you know, studying. It's great to study and to understand what resonates with us, but you know, how many people do you know that are studying and studying and studying, have been studying for years, and then they get so much information they don't even know what to do with it or where to start, right? So find something that resonates with you, but then put it into practice. You know, how many tools do you really need in your toolbox before you start to build something? So, you know, all the things you've studied in the past, great. They've brought you information. They've, you know, brought you all kinds of techniques and maybe things that you can use for yourself to better yourself. But now it's time to start a practice. The Aquarian age is supporting us with that. And in order to practice, we need to do it regularly. It's not just about once or twice a week or on the weekends when we have time. Right? Do you want to feel good once or twice a week or on the weekends when you have time, or do you want to feel good every day? That's what the Aquarian age is all about. So starting with our words, it's the simplest thing we can do because we're constantly speaking, and it's not just the words we speak out loud, it's also the thoughts we have, the words we have in our minds, our self-talk. And if you're using the word try, you might not even know you're using the word try, because most of the clients come to me and I listen to them what they're trying to do. Well, we're trying to build a business, and we're trying to, you know, get our kids through the school, or we're trying to build a house, or we're trying to whatever. And if you're trying, you're probably having a difficult time with manifesting what you want to do, because the word try, when you use it, sends a self-defeating message to your subconscious, right? And the subconscious is is what determines the energy we're in. We can fake it all we want. We can be a happy, smiley person. How many people know happy, smiley people who bright up the room when they come in the door, but deep down inside, they're miserable, they're lonely, they're sad, they're on antidepressants, they're on anxiety medication. You know, they're really masking who they are with this happy, cheerful person that you see on the outside. So the spells we are casting by the words we speak or the thoughts that we think really determine what we're manifesting and how we're interacting with the universal energies in the world. So really being aware of it. I'm going to share a little story with you so you can understand how I learned about this. You know, someone once told me the difference between knowledge and wisdom is experience. And that really made sense to me. You know, I went through sexual abuse as a child, and then I went to therapy as I got older, but the therapist had never been sexually abused. So he went through all the questions that he was taught to ask for people who have been abused, and it didn't really help because he didn't understand how I was feeling. He had never gone through it. And so he prescribed me some medication, and off I went. He never gave me any tools to get off the medication, to help me make it through, to help release the depression. He just put me on the medication, and I was on it for 6 years. Fortunately, I myself went for searching for ways to get off the medication, and you know, here I am today, not on any medication, really having healed that depression and all the other things that were wrong with me physically too. So back in 2008 or 9, when the stock market crashed, you couldn't even get a job bagging groceries. And my boss, who was the owner of the building I lived in, I was very fortunate. I was able to manage the building I lived in, and I didn't have to pay rent. And I took care of the building and took care of the people in the building, and it was great. And she came to me on a Saturday, and she said, I'm selling the building on Monday. And it was just like a stab in my heart. I still had my son at home. He was a senior in high school. And, you know, when you don't have a job, it's hard to find a place to live. And when you don't have a place to live, it's hard to find a job. And I wasn't making enough money to pay the rent. And so when she told me she was going to sell the building, it was a shock. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. So I figured at that time, it was time for me to start my business. So I got excited about starting the business, and I had faith because I was like, well, starting a business, you never really make enough money right in the beginning to pay all the bills. It takes time to build your business. But I went out there with faith and, my good vibration, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And so I made some business cards, and people were like, oh, what are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I'm trying to start a business. And for like 2 or 3 weeks, I told people I'm trying to start a business until my partner, Michael, called me out, and he's like, you're trying to start a business. How's that going? And it really wasn't going good because I would tell people, oh, I'm trying to start a business, and they would go, oh, that's great, good luck, and they'd walk away. And, they didn't really care about the business or, because I was just trying to start it. There wasn't anything there for them to even kind of ask about. So I was trying to start it. So Michael reminded me of Yoda from Star Wars, who said, do or do not, there is no try, right? It's if you don't understand what I'm talking about, if you have something in front of you like a cup or a pen or a book, I'm going to ask you, try to pick it up, right? Try to pick up your cup, try to pick up your pen. Now, if you've picked it up, then you're successful. You didn't try to pick it up, you picked it up. Now, if there's a boulder in front of you and I say, try to pick up the boulder, then you're not going to be able to pick it up, and you can say, I tried to pick up the boulder, but I wasn't successful, right? So I kept telling people I'm trying to start a new business, and it really wasn't going very well. So I had to slow down my thinking during conversation, and this is really important because me, for example, I speak faster than I think. So words just flow out of my mouth. I don't even think about it. They just flow out, and I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. So at that time, I had to slow down and think about what my sentence or my statement when somebody asked me something. What am I going to say? How am I going to reply to this? And so people started asking me like, oh, I'm like, oh, I'm starting a business, trying to start a business. They're like, oh, what's happening? And I would call myself out. And when I thought of, oh, I'm trying to start a business, my patterns kept repeating. That's how our habits. We're habitually saying I'm trying because that's what our parents said. That's what our teachers say. If you first you don't succeed, try and try again, right? It's so negative. It's not really helpful. It's gonna, maybe you'll get there little by little because you're trying and trying again. But if you stop trying and just started doing, you would be successful at a much faster pace. So I would call myself out in front of people. Like if I was in front of a group of people and they say, oh, what are you doing? So I'm trying to start a business. I would say, oh no, I'm not trying. I would say cancel, cancel, cancel. This is a really powerful technique. When you say cancel, cancel, cancel out loud, it sends a signal to the three parts of your brain that you're canceling your last statement. But that doesn't just work if you just, now you're embarrassed. You say, I'm trying to start a business. Oh, cancel, cancel, cancel. It doesn't work. You have to restate your statement. I am starting a business. And then what I did, just kind of to save face a little bit and maybe to plant a seed in other people, I would tell them, oh, I'm not using the word try. It sends a self-defeating message to our subconscious. Restate your statement and then move ahead. So what an exercise I can suggest for all of you who are wanting to get the word try out of your vocabulary is to get a piece of paper. This is what I did. Get a piece of paper and think of the times when you use the word try. Like people are asking you all the time, and you're like, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to, get my work done. I'm trying to, focus on something. And then rewrite the answers onto your page. I don't know, maybe there's 6 or 8 incidences that you can think of where people are asking you what to do, what you're doing, and you say, well, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And now just remove the word try and use like I am in the process of. I am, instead of say I'm trying, I am doing the best I can. Think of it this way. If you're telling your subconscious, oh, I'm trying, or you're telling your subconscious, I'm doing the best I can, what would be better for your subconscious? Not trying, because that's self-defeating, but your subconscious hearing, I'm doing the best I can every time. I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. That is so empowering because you're literally reinforcing the fact that you're doing the best you can. And that is such a positive statement. So get your notebook out, write down a few statements where you can exchange them for I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that, right? I'm in the process of, I am working on it, I'm doing the best I can. And then slow down your speech when you're in conversation with people. And really just when you think that, oh, I'm, you know what you're going to say, I'm trying to start my business, you can stop yourself before you say it and you say, I am in the process of starting my business. I am starting my own business, right? And you have those backup statements that you kind of memorized. And these are the spells you are casting, right? You're not casting a spell of I'm trying, you're casting a spell of I'm doing my best. I'm in the process of, my intention is, right? So magic is not this kind of thing that it's not really relatable. Magic happens all the time. The word spelling comes from casting spells. So think about the spells you are casting. What are you telling your children? What are you telling yourself or your family? What are you telling people at work? What spells are you casting, right? Think of it that way. Mantras are spells, right? So if you repeat a mantra all the time, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. How many years have you been trying to lose weight, quit smoking, write a book, start your business, right? It's time to stop trying to change your diet or to find a partner, right? And to just actually do it. So removing that word try is going to raise your vibration because you're not sending those negative signals or messages to your self-conscious, right? When you're sending these sorry and trying and all these, it's lowering your vibration. And the way the universe works is the law of attraction is working all the time. So if you're trying and you're sorry and you're not necessarily functioning at your highest self, you're not saying that you're doing your best, the universe sees that you're at this lower vibration and it just gives you more of the same. You'll manifest other people in your life who are trying and who are sorry and who are not really making progress the way they want to, and you will be with those people. But when you raise your vibration to the level of I'm doing the best I can, I am in the process of, I am working on it, then the universe will bring you people who are vibrating at that vibration, right? So after I started saying I'm trying to start a business and I removed the word try and I said I'm starting a business, I went about another 2 or 3 weeks telling people, oh, I'm starting a business. And there still wasn't very much interest in the business. So then I really took some time in meditation and cleared my mind and analyzed my statement, I'm starting a business. And I was like, I've already had some business. I've taught a couple classes and I have a couple private clients who have come to me and I've made some money. So I said, you know what, starting a business is still something you're in the process of. You're not successful because you're just starting. So I changed that sentence again. I said, I have my own business. People are like, what do you do? Oh, I have my own business. When I stepped into the power of I have my own business, people were like, wow, what do you do? What, all of a sudden there was interest in what I did. And it was just a shock to me because I was very aware of the process I was going through with trying to start and then starting and now saying I have a business. This all happened within a month. My awareness kept rising and rising, and what I was manifesting kept rising and rising. My vibration started raising and the people who I was attracting were at a higher vibration. So it really just got the ball rolling, and the law of attraction, like I said, working all the time. Now I was attracting people of a higher vibration, people who had more money to pay for the services rather than people who were trying to make enough money to pay for the services, right? Or trying to make enough money to even go to an event. They couldn't even afford $20 to come to a class because that was the people I was attracting when I was trying. So think about all the different ways that you can recast your spells, the spells that you've been casting for years. And really, the word mantra is the mantra I used when I had physical and emotional issues way back, almost 15 years ago when I started on this journey. My mantra was inhaling divine healing energy or universal healing energy, exhaling everything that doesn't serve me. And that mantra really helped me to raise my vibration, because anytime anger came in, anytime fear came in, anytime anything kind of negative, doubt or, worthiness comes in, if you have a mantra for that, inhaling healing energy, exhaling everything that doesn't serve me, you can release the pain, the emotional pain, the physical pain. People can only make you mad if you allow them to, right? There's a great story about Buddha who's walking the land, and an irate man comes up to him and he's like, who do you think you are, Buddha? You come from a rich family and you have, really no worries. You can go back there anytime, and you're walking around the land barefoot in robes, preaching this stuff, and, who do you think you are and what do you really know? And he went on and on with his anger, projecting it at Buddha. And, Buddha, he is standing there listening very quietly and respectful to the man's speech. And finally the man finished, and Buddha just looked at him and he said to the man, if somebody buys a gift for someone, but the person doesn't accept it, whose gift is it? And the man thought about it, and he's like really mad now because Buddha isn't even acknowledging all the angry energy that this man was tossing at him. Buddha's coming back with some story about a gift and a person, and so the guy just said, well, I guess it's mine. And so then Buddha says, you are correct, and I am not receiving the gift you have brought to me. The anger and the doubt that you're bringing to me, I'm not accepting that. So Buddha didn't get mad when the man was trying to make him mad, to provoke him. The man got mad because Buddha put up the block. He's like, I am not accepting this. And you can do this to your family. You can do this to your partner. You can do this to your boss. And you don't have to necessarily be vocal about it. If obviously, if you're trying to plant a seed, right? Trying to plant a seed, you can say something, but even rather than trying to plant a seed, if you want to plant a seed, or if you're intending, I'm going to say cancel, because I used the word try when I didn't really want to. So I'm calling myself out and I'm canceling that. The next time I say it, I won't use the word try. Even me, I still do it, right? So if you want to implant a seed or intend on implanting seeds into people, then you can say, I am putting my shield up. I am not receiving this. I did this with my partner. I'm sure he doesn't mind if I call him out. When we first got together, he was harboring a lot of rage, and he would snap at the stupidest things, like you leave the cabinet door open in the kitchen, or there's a plate in the sink, and he would go off. And I'm like, Michael, calm down. It's just a plate in the sink. It's just the cabinet. Oh, but I'm sick of it. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, you're allowing my actions to make you mad. you can either just ask me to close the cabinet or put the plate in the sink, or you can just do it, and you don't need to get mad. You don't need to bring that anger into you, because now look at your body. You're all tense. You're frustrated. You're angry, and it's making you sick. And a lot of the diseases we have nowadays are because of the emotions, the negative emotions that we allow other people to dump on us. Right? We're angry about politics. We're angry about what our boss is doing or not doing, or what our partner did or didn't do, or what we did or didn't do, or what our kids are doing. And that's really just giving your power away. So at that point, when you start to feel the anger or the fear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel it, because I still feel it, but I only feel it for one breath cycle, right? I take a deep breath, bring in the healing energy, exhale and release, right? Not bury it, release it. There's a big difference, right? We don't want to bury it. We don't want to swallow it. We don't want to hold it back. We want to speak our truth. But when the argument starts, you can say simply, I am not going to participate in an argument. When we calm down, we can talk about it, right? And then you go your separate ways, and you take a walk, you take a shower, take a bath, whatever you got to do. And then later you come back and you talk about it, and you at a much higher vibration, right? So starting to be more aware of the words you're using, and then writing down some different words that you can use to substitute when you're using the word try, or when you're really getting angry, all these things that you can do to help raise your vibration and start to attract the things you really want to attract. Now, let me see. I have some notes here. I did the cancel, cancel, cancel. Yeah, so mantra also is the same as self-hypnosis, right? Self-hypnosis only works if you're doing it all the time, right? You have to create habits. Habits are broken and created by changing our patterns, right? So if every day you get up and walk your dog around the block this way, and let's say you're looking for a job, or you're looking for a new boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that, and every day you get up and you walk your dog around the block this way. Imagine if you got up one day and walked your dog around the block the other way. You might meet the partner of your dreams. You might meet a person who's walking their dog who at the same time every day, which you don't see because you're going this way and they're on this side, and they might offer you a job, right? So breaking the habits just by doing different things. I'm not talking about, moving somewhere or buying a new house or changing, drastic things. I'm talking about just little teeny things that will start to build up, that will raise your vibration. So create the mantras, the self-hypnosis, right? If you don't love yourself, which obviously I didn't love myself many years ago after going through all the stuff I went through, there was a technique that you look in the mirror every day and you say, I love you to yourself 100 times. You can't do it 2 or 3 times a week. You have to do it every day. A habit is created when you do something consistently for at least 100 days, I'm going to say. And some people it may take longer, because the conditionings we've placed on ourselves, not even on ourselves, the conditionings that our family has taught us, church, TV, social media, school, how we're, the people we're supposed to be, that they want us to be, that didn't come overnight. So the things that you are trying to get rid of, that you've been trying to get rid of, you can get rid of them once you start to make choices in the moment that are different, right? You're not trying to make different choices, you're making different choices, and you have to be consistent day after day after day. I'm not saying that this doesn't come without some effort, and it can be tiring, because you have to constantly be aware of what you're saying and thinking, and that is a little tiring, but it's only tiring for a month or two, right? After you do it for a month or two, all of a sudden it becomes a habit, because you're consciously choosing to do something different every time. So be in awareness of your thoughts, be in awareness of your spoken word, the spells you are casting, and then choose consciously to do things differently. It's really about taking care of yourself, right? When you take care of yourself and you change who you are, or what you're saying, or what you're doing, you inspire other people to do it. Now, you may lose some friends, because as you raise your vibration, the people who are not raising their vibration, the needy ones, the ones who are depending on you for every little thing, they're depending on you to, call them every day, or to be there when they need to complain about something. They're depending on you to walk their dog, or to give them a ride or whatever. Those people are not consciously raising the vibration, and they're going to start to get on your nerves. Sadly, but true. So now you have to make a decision, because if you stick around with the people in the lower vibration, you're just going to be one of them, right? It's like the old saying, when you hang around with 4 drunks in the bar, you become the 5th drunk in a bar, right? So do you want to be the 5th drunk in a bar? No. Do you want to abandon these people necessarily? They're your lifelong friends. Maybe they're your family. Maybe they're even your kids, right? You don't want to abandon them. But when you change who you are, and they see you changing your vocabulary and you doing things differently and you starting to come into things, you will inspire them to do the same. If they're not consciously doing the same, it's time to let them go. I'm sure pretty much I have no friends that are the same friends today that I had years ago. And I'm talking even friends from childhood. I'm not friends with them anymore because they're vibrating at such a low vibration. So the way that I got rid of those friends is by saying, you know what, I love you, but I can't hang around with you, because every time I do, you're just bringing me down. You're always focusing on the negative, right? We have to focus on the solution, not the problem. If we focus on the problem, we just remain focused on the problem, right? I was sexually abused. If I kept focusing on my sexual abuse, I would be focusing on my sexual abuse to this day, but 15 years ago, I let that go. I forgave the person, I forgave, everything that had to do with that, and I let it go. And now I'm not bothered by that. To me, that person that was sexually abused is a completely different person. It's not me. I'm not even related to that person anymore, right? But it took conscious effort for me to do that. It took mantras. It took conscious thinking. It took conscious doing for me to do that. So taking care of yourself and really refilling your cup. People will say, well, why can't you walk my dog today? Well, I have to do my practice. I promised myself I'd do 20 minutes today, and it's either I can walk your dog or I can cook dinner for my family, right? So basically I can't walk your dog. Maybe you'll have to find a dog sitter, or maybe you'll have to, if your neighbor can walk or whoever, I have to take this time to myself. And if that person doesn't understand that you need to take time to yourself rather than walk their dog, then maybe that person doesn't have your best interest in mind, right? They're only focusing on themselves. So, taking that time for yourself is also going to teach your children to take time for themselves, right? Do you want your children to grow up like us? I didn't want my son to grow up like me. I was judged by my mother, judged by people at school, not following, not going to college. Oh my gosh, all these things that people wanted me to do. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And after I took stock in myself and who I am, what I wanted to do, I told myself I would never do that to my son. I would never tell him what to do, even from an early age. I set an example of how to be, and if he chose to be different, he had to suffer the consequences. I couldn't save him, from whatever he was doing. I told him I would always be there for you. You could call me if you need me, but, I didn't really preach to him. I showed him how to be. Children don't listen to what we say. Children watch what we do, and they follow what we do. So if you're doing things right now that you would not wish on your children, then you need to start doing things differently, because they're going to follow suit, right? I've seen so many people getting dragged to church because their parents and grandparents want them to go to church, but they don't even want to go to church. And it doesn't even help them. It just brings animosity towards their family, because they don't really want to go to church and their family's dragging them to church, right? So these things, they're really not helpful for raising our children. Another couple of things that I could share with you. I don't know what time it is because my phone is not telling me the time, but I feel like we're pretty much coming to an end. I want to share just a couple more things, like saying sorry, right? Oh my God, sorry. People walking out of an elevator, sorry. People coming, through the aisle at the grocery store, oh, sorry. The waiter brings your food on the table and he's like, oh, sorry, I put the plate in the wrong place. All this sorry energy is not doing you any good. What actually is happening, pardon my French, you're turning yourself into a sorry ass being. Right now, if you step on somebody's toe, or you crash into their car, sure, say you're sorry, apologize. But if you're walking out of an elevator and you have the tendency to say you're sorry, or if you're, walking down the grocery store aisle and you want to say sorry, just say, pardon me, excuse me. Right? There's many things. It's part of the list that you can write down when you find, you say sorry all the time. Stop saying sorry, because you're just being a really sorry person, and that's a very low vibration. Be genuinely sorry when you hit somebody or step on their toe or whatever happens, but don't be sorry for existing and for, you know, walking down the grocery store aisle. You have just as much right to be in the elevator as the next person does. So create your mantras. Think of them as spells you are casting. Magic is everywhere, right? And it starts with the spells that we cast and the words that we speak on a daily basis. So if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to message me. You can message me on my Facebook page, A Deeper Connection, where you're all tuned into right now. You can message me privately. You can call me on the phone if you have my number. Please don't hesitate if you need help making your mantras or your statements, or you have any questions. Just give me a call and we'll work on it together. I love you all. Namaste. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you coming, and I'm glad that I was able to reach out to you and maybe make a difference in what you are manifesting this year. Goodbye.